Cyber Worlds and Communities by Nicole Jean Tan Min. Are we but automata in the cyber communities that surround us? Well, automata can be defined as either mechanical figures constructed to act as if by their own motive power, in other words, a robot, or people who act in a monotonous routine manner without active intelligence. Whereas a cyber community, otherwise known as a virtual community, is a social network of individuals who interact through specific social media, potentially crossing geographical and political boundaries in order to pursue mutual interests or goals. My answer to this question is no. We are not automata in the cyber communities that surround us. When part of online cyber communities, there's lots of room for people to showcase their individuality and to interact with others. And there's definitely the benefit of increased choice because people can choose to participate in any digital community that they want to, and versus the obligation of being part of a physical community that one is born into. There is communion in these online cyber communities because people it's based on their interests and they can talk about anything that they want to and things that they genuinely want to be part of. When people actively make the decision to be part of these communities, I would say that there is no monotony and going through the motions. So no, we are not automata in the cyber communities that surround us. Now we move on to explore if there is a valid concern that the networked society will eventually lead to hyperreality, which is defined as an inability of consciousness to distinguish reality from a simulation of reality, especially in technologically advanced post-modern societies. My answer is yes, it is a valid concern, and that the network society will most likely lead to hyperreality. The network society arose because of the role of communication and information technology in accelerating larger scale changes that have been ongoing for decades. This can be linked to the transition from the machine age to the information age and the shift from a production to a consumption society. By this point, consumer culture has created such an uncertain social structure and such a proliferation of signs that their association to anything real or authentic has become lost. In that sense, a situation is created where we exist in hyperreality, dealing with copies of copies to the point where we cannot tell the difference between copies and originals, and if anything, we prefer the copy to the original. How is this then linked to the network society? Well, the network society encourages an ever-growing network of contacts that would not be personally maintainable without the use of technologies to store and retrieve these contacts. As such, we increasingly use social objects as communicative bodies in constant conversation with others. In this way, a network society will lead to hyperreality because people are no longer conscious of the notions of presence and absence. They are now blurred into what is called a connected presence. Is there a valid concern that the network society will eventually lead to disembodiment? Disembodiment is the act or instance of separating something from its material form. I would say yes, it is a valid concern and network societies do lead to disembodiment. There has been a move from communities to networks, thanks to the increased mobility and advances in communication technology, which have intensified this process to the point where social relations are in the process of moving from being completely place-centered to being completely person-centered and aspatial. Because the material form, or in this case, the physical location, no longer plays a crucial part in maintaining social relations, it is safe to say that network societies do indeed lead to disembodiment. Is there a valid concern that the network society will eventually lead to dehumanization, which is the act or instance of being deprived of human qualities, personality, or spirit? I feel that this point can be argued two ways. On one hand, I'd say no. Network societies will not lead to dehumanization, and this is because of networked individualism. In networked individualism, place-to-place connection deteriorates in favor of person-to-person connection via the advent of mobile phones and other wireless technologies. The result is a decoupling of social relationships and linkages from place as social relationships become centered increasingly around the person. This shows that human dehumanization is not taking place, that people are not being deprived of human qualities, personality, and spirit. On the other hand, it may be argued that it will lead to dehumanization because people may grow indifferent. Due to the instantaneous transient nature of all communication, it would disconnect or abstract the individual from physical action and a sense of social or personal responsibility to others. Now let's talk about the positive consequences of digital communities set in a context of fast-paced urban society like Singapore. Firstly, digital communities allow people to build up networks in enterprise and sociality. In a modern, thriving economy like Singapore with a fast-paced lifestyle, it is important to build up networks both in terms of business and socially. And given that it is online and easily accessible, it makes it very convenient for people who are often too busy to go and check out these digital communities to stay connected and to be involved. Aside from allowing people to network and increase their opportunities by meeting more people and interacting with others, there is one key positive consequence, and that is that digital communities can actually help Singaporeans to build and maintain relationships, especially when many of them don't have time for such things when they are so busy trying to keep up with the fast-paced lifestyle we have here. But in actual fact, online interactions actually tend to supplement face-to-face contact without increasing or decreasing such contact. However, while there are positive consequences, there are also negative consequences. One such negative consequence is that digital communities may serve as a distraction from real-world relationship and communities. This is based on the logic that time spent online would potentially cut time spent offline with families or other members of the community. And this is a problem especially when people already have very little time for family in a fast-paced urban society like Singapore's. In a diverse, fast-paced urban society like Singapore's, people are constantly picking up new interests and dropping old ones regularly and often. To feed a particular interest, people join digital communities, but they abandon these communities when their interests have changed or when they have gotten what they want from them. Because of the come-and-go nature of these digital communities, it may disconnect or abstract the individual from physical action and a sense of social and personal responsibility to others, especially when they can come when they need something and leave when they don't need it anymore. Lastly, due to the busy, fast-paced life in Singapore, people find it most convenient to stay in touch with their friends through social objects like mobile phones. Technologies often stand in for people by making them almost continually contactable no matter their physical location. Once again, this may take a toll on the individual's real-world relationships, especially in fast-paced Singapore. Thank you!